Everybody can hear us now. Hello, everybody. And now let's
Can
see
they see us
if...
too?
Nope, but now they can. So,
Sweet.
hello, everybody.
So
Oh,
it's a little
let's do
awkward when we're
this.
getting this stream ready. We're like, wait, can they hear us yet? Oh, don't
No,
say
I
anything
mean,
controversial.
I'm a professional. All right,
Yeah, right.
let's see.
Truly professional.
I need, as a professional, let me do something that I should have done before. It's funny how that works. You're like, look
So
how...
funny. Like as we're launching the project, I say to Bear, do you remember the passwords to our social medias? He's like, no. I'm like, I don't know what they are either. So
Oh, yeah, not at this time. My brain is blank, all right?
I mean, we're logged into Discord and stuff like that, but all of our social medias, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, okay, well, we have to figure that out and let everyone know on the social medias. I'm old, sorry.
Yeah, you and social media does not get along, that's for sure.
No, look at my face. Look how this is for you guys. Okay, everybody who's a fan of us. I'm literally accidentally growing a beard because I've been spending so many late nights working on everything, all things for you guys. It's never ending, but it's good. It's good. It's a fun hobby. Shout out to my friend Glenn who gave me this dice bag.
Nice.
15 years ago.
That's quite a long time ago.
Yeah, dude. Everyone's like, dude, how did you get a black Crown Royal? Oh my god, that's so cool.
Right. Yeah, I actually also have a black Crown Royal because we had a ton at one point.
Yeah.
Because you said you were like going around to bars and picking them up.
So yeah, so what I was doing was people. So first of all, Glenn told me, his buddy has a bar, and so he just ends up with all the dice bags so that he. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but Crown Royal is a dice bag company that also sells alcohol. It's like a bonus that goes inside the bag.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not true. But anyway, it occurred to me, I was like, wait a minute, so you could just get Crown Royal bags because they're essentially, like a waste item, they're packaging. And so I started ordering them and I got a bunch and we were selling them through our website for a time.
It
was cool.
Yeah.
People loved them. So, but other priorities took the lead on that. So look at the numbers. Looks really good, everybody. Thank you for backing the project. Thank you for sharing it with your friends. I just posted the update, so hopefully we'll have more people jumping in here to watch us live as we create the Vanguard
traps. I know.
Yes.
I'm excited.
We were debating, we were trying to figure out what's going to be something cool for early bird backers. What, it's always a really hard decision. Like, what do you do? What kind of thing? We're like, well, let's make it Kickstarter exclusive and let's make it something that would be really cool and just like bespoke for everybody. So that's where we came up with, well, we're going to do live streams. So how about in the first 3 days of the campaign, we'll just live stream us creating traps, and those become the traps for all those early bird backers.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's going to be cool. Also, if you haven't already, check out the top of the project has a section for playtest material. You can download the random trap generator, which is what we're going to be using to create our traps, and that has basically all the rules and stuff like that. And then you'll go ahead and download that, and there's a section you can submit your own traps. Because our first stretch goal, which actually I should put the dollar amount in there, shouldn't I? All right, first stretch goal is going to be at 15,000.
Nice.
For let's see here.
You're like, where are my notes? Checks notes.
Yeah, checks notes. So this is the backer design traps at 15,000.
Nice.
So what happens there is any and all traps that people submit, we will review, and if they are, all the ones that I've seen so far are wonderful, so they'll definitely be included. So that none have been rejected, just nothing inappropriate. It kind of says it on the form, but basically all of those traps will be assembled into a PDF that all backers will get. So definitely check that out. Submit your own traps. It's very easy to use the random trap generator, so I highly recommend playing around with it and coming up with something cool. And don't worry if you don't think, oh, this is not unique enough. We can always take it and tweak it a little bit if there's something that already exists in either Treasure Traps 1, Treasure Traps 2, or it's something that someone else has submitted. We can tweak it a little bit and make it unique. Keep in mind too that some traps are appropriate for corridors, some traps are appropriate for large open rooms, some are appropriate for tight rooms, some might be appropriate for overland travel, like in the forest or the desert or something like that, so or the mountains. So we're not going to be like super harsh on traps and say no, that we're not going to accept that one. So if over the course of this entire project we end up with hundreds of new traps from the community, that will be the PDF. So feel free to submit multiple traps if you wish.
Yep.
So yeah, check that out.
That's super exciting.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here. We can, and anybody in the chat, feel free to offer your own contributions to.
Yeah. Any suggestions or anything you got, feel free.
Yeah. More than happy to entertain people's ideas, because this is somewhat of a back and forth and community created. Obviously we're curating them, but community created traps in both the Vanguard and the backer traps PDF. So yeah, I mean we can jump into that. Bear's showing us the campaign page here. If anyone has any questions, feel free to throw that into the chat as we go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slowly scroll through it. So
yeah, I hope that the campaign page is as self-explanatory as possible. We've worked on it for quite a long time, trying to make sure that it explains everything about what the product is, what it does, and why you should buy it. So hopefully you do see the value in it. And the original Treacherous Traps has been such an amazing book and our top selling product for the past 7 years. So we're hopeful that people like the expansion on it. And one of the things I'll point out, because we're about to use the random trap generator, we enhanced the random trap generator from the first version to this new version, where now it has 4 options per trigger and effect on the concept of what it might be. So whereas the original one would just tell you that it was like, make sound was the trigger and a snare was the effect. Well, now you've got make sound with 4 different variations on that concept, and snare has again 4 different variations, and sometimes there's sub variations in there. So it might say something like when you attempt to pick a lock, but it'll say it's doors and other things like that. In fact, I'll just go to that section right now, so let me have a look. So if you attempt to pick lock, you could have let's see, doors and gates, chests and coffers, restraints, and curios. So what's funny is I'm looking at the PDF and somehow some of the numbering got, oh, that's weird. On the attempt to pick log, it goes 1 1 2 3. So I'll have to just fix that. I'm not sure why that's there. And then interact with bait also says 2 1 2 3. So I'm not sure why that's happening. So the process is we write everything in Google Docs, and then we have a program that can import the text and its formatting. So it's H1s and paragraphs and H2s and whatever.
Can just come over.
It imports it into InDesign, and sometimes along the way some stuff might happen, so always worth a second check in there. Anyway, yeah, without further ado, so if you are playing along at home and you do download the random trap generator, you'll on page in the PDF, it'll be the second page of the PDF. It'll have this really big table that has mechanical, ambiguous, and magical triggers and effects. So you can roll with a D100 and get twice and get a random trigger and a random effect on this table, or you can roll just within a certain type of trap, so mechanical triggers and
it's
mechanical
like a D20
effects.
or
There's a D20 for mechanical and magical, and there's a D10 for ambiguous.
That's right.
Ambiguous can be either or, and what we've done is those 4 options, we've included 2 mechanical and 2 magical. So
makes sense.
You've got some options there. Yeah. Trying to make it more versatile, more useful. So for our first trap, I'm just going to go 2 100s.
Yeah.
So we go 82. It's going to be look into. I love look into.
I do too. Because look into is so like interesting because just the setup for it, right? You're like, oh, cool. There's a peephole. Yeah, like what that looks into the next room. I'm gonna go. You're like, good luck.
Yeah, and then we got 11. So that's gonna be drop. So look into something and then a drop is going to happen. So it's a magical trigger with a mechanical effect, which makes it a hybrid trap. So let me make a few notes here before I get too further here.
I will go off of already how I feel about this. Yeah, I would probably do some sort of peephole or something like that that's like peering into a next room. So you're inclined to want to go and see what that is. And then that sets you up perfect, right? That puts you exactly where the drop wants you to be. So you're standing over a trap door now or whatever, and you put your face up against the thing, and then next thing you know, you're falling. Hey, Triple Dub, thank you so much. Thanks for the support.
There could be some like mechanical, or rather the magical. So it's a magical thing that actually pulls the mechanical lever that will make you fall or whatever.
Something that's cool about it being magical too is it could potentially tell which eye, right? So whoever set this up, they could peep through it, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, cool.
It's like a peephole on a door.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's, or like through a wall, or like some like a rogue would be using this, but it's magically trapped so that if the wrong person tries to use the peephole, they end up falling into a pit.
Okay.
And then they're like, okay, cool. Well, we know someone was here.
Okay, so.
Well, second's still really good.
Notes. What'd you say?
Triple Dude got second for backer. Someone beat him to the #1 spot, which is funny. I always feel like, yeah, you're just checking out as fast as you can, because every once in a while I'll do that for Kickstarters, and I'm like, please, I can get there first.
It's funny how we have that like compulsion to get #1.
Oh man, I want to be #1.
Yeah. All right, so let me make some notes here. So,
so far that's where I'm leaning. We can do our D4 rolls too on each of them to see what extra little tidbits we get. But
yeah, so let's start with this. The trigger is look into, and then the effect is drop. I'm gonna make the notes about, I like your ideas about detects the wrong person looking into in order to trigger. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and
that is pretty neat.
If we go to those sections, so to look into. Page 26.
By the way, Triple Dub, how does everything sound since we got you here? I always like asking, are we too loud? Is the music too loud? How's everything looking? Because I can always change all that. That's the hardest part about streaming, I always feel, because you never know, right? Like, I can hear my own audio. You sound fine to me, Chris. I sound fine to me. The audio sounds fine. But, like, the stream...
sound fine to me.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? If it sounds bad, let us know. We'll adjust it.
Yeah.
So look into has the perfect one for your scenario: the pairing aperture, a keyhole, window, crystal, or other opening that triggers the trap when a creature looks through or into it.
There you go. Yeah.
So we'll go with. You want keyhole or?
I think that's Chris sounds a little echoey just because his area is a little echoey. But...
Here, sorry. Let me put my mic a little bit closer to my face.
Hey, yeah, that helps.
Maybe that's better.
That is better, actually, in all honesty.
So what are you thinking then for the? Are you thinking the keyhole or the door? What is this thing on the door? What is that called? Peephole.
Peephole. Right? Yeah, they're called peepholes. Yep. Chris ASMR. Peephole. Yep, exactly. He just moves closer and starts.
Yeah. So today.
No, stop, please. I can't handle
traps.
That would actually be really funny to do a stream like that, though. I've never done like a true ASMR stream.
I wonder if we could do an ASMR where we narrate the artwork, like show the artwork, and then the spider crept up on its unsuspecting victim. Well, I'm pretty sure
it's like very documentary.
I mean, look how terrified she is.
Oh yeah, they definitely know it's bad.
All right, so
VLWM, welcome in.
And then the drop. What does the drop have on it?
Yeah, I definitely like the peephole idea. Either it's looking into another room or a door that has a little peephole or whatever it is. And then what's the drop ones? Yeah.
We've got unadorned, hazardous, gateway, oblet. So
sweet. Thank you guys. I'm gonna do real quick.
So the unadorned would be something like a lower level spell, like less lethal and all that. And then you have to think about like what its purpose is. So we have purposes like, do you want to capture them? Do you want to harm them? Do you want to subdue them?
Yeah, like what are you trying to get out?
Yeah, what are you actually trying to get out of this? And I'm leaning toward something like subdue if it's lower level. If you do want to make it like really bad, you could fill it full of spikes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I kind of like subdue as well, weirdly enough, for this, because I feel like you're trying to trap the person who's peeping in so that you can be like, yo, why?
Yeah.
I'm now going to interrogate you for being in the wrong spot.
And like the place that this could exist is like the entrance of a thieves guild or something.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put that in the notes.
They're like, yeah, you're not supposed to be here. It's like, hey, I'm just a messenger. I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah, and it's like keyed to only the people who are allowed in the guild, right?
Yep.
So if you come to the door and you look in and you're not part of the guild, it's gonna the thing will trigger and you're gonna fall into the pit.
Yeah.
So it's not like a spiked pit or anything like that. It's just a pit, and it's deep enough to where it is going to be difficult for you to get out on your own. So unadorned, I'll put unadorned on there. Now that my mic is in the way of my keyboard.
I did it on purpose. No. Your audio went up, but now you can't type.
Yeah, no, I can't type. All right, so let's see. Unadorned and basically just a 10-foot.
Yeah, I don't think it should be anything crazy. The trapdoor can always seal back up above you.
Damage. Yeah, 10-foot pit trap door closes after a few seconds. All right.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Those are
nice thing. Non-lethal, right? It's pretty straightforward. Hybrid trap, pretty sick.
Yeah. All right. There we go.
Man, designing traps is fun. Especially, like, my favorite thing about the random trap generator is you throw two cards down or do your 2 rolls or however you're doing it, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, my brain is starting to go places with these. Like,
for me, it starts to set a whole scene. And, you know, if you want to do it on the fly, you've already got your dungeon, let's say, you've already got your map, you've already got your layout somewhat in mind, and you start doing this on the fly, and you're like, oh, that'd be perfect for that corridor. They're going to be going right through there. You know, they're going to I'll see about some perception checks or whatever. And if they missed it, then boom, they've got the snare, and one of them is like, snared to the ceiling or something like that.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I don't want to be here.
No. Let's go with another. So let's see. Should we try to aim for like a certain number of mechanical, a certain number of magical, and a certain number of hybrid?
So let's see. We're
traps?
doing 25 altogether, right?
25, yeah.
Yeah, probably, because we can easily do like 10 mechanical, 10 magical, 5 hybrid, probably, something like that.
Well, I'm thinking within each category, within each level range, what we could do is like 2 mechanical, 2 magical, 1 hybrid.
Yep, that works
Probably.
fine.
Okay, so I'll put this one as the hybrid.
Yes, but this is the hybrid. What do you do? No.
I usually have a thesaurus out so I can like, okay, seeing. What are some other? I'll just call it.
Oh, you're trying to name
drop.
the trap.
Yeah.
Just call it vision drop. I like that.
Vision drop.
That's fine. We can name them later.
So now,
actually, chat, if you have any good names for the peephole that drops you into a hole, pitch it. Now we're right here.
Okay. So what I'll do now is we'll just do a mechanical trigger and a mechanical effect.
Okay.
And we'll use a D20 for that one. All right. So we have a 3, which is fail to pick lock, and then a 6, which is that's let's see, that's drop if you roll the D20. So I'll roll again. 18. Okay. So spikes. Okay. So fail to pick lock results in spikes.
That's pretty standard. I feel like I like this one. This is like your true normal, like what you would expect in a dungeon. You're like, all right, cool. We're dealing with this door to the big bad room, or like whatever room is, treasure room.
But what if it's an item?
Oh, could be.
What if it's something like, so maybe it's part of a wagon, or a strong box, or something like that.
Totally could.
What we could do here is instead.
And yep, it's a peephole that drops you into a hole. So it's a peephole that drops you into a hole trap.
Yep. Look into the peephole, and you're not part of the authorized users list or whatever via magic, and the trapdoor opens up and you fall down. It's a great way to keep solicitors away from your guild.
I guess so. Yeah. That's probably why they started doing it. The blink and sink. That's pretty good.
Blink and sink.
Blink and sink is pretty good, actually.
Blink. Sink.
Yeah, it's like trademarked. Blink and sink.
What's a D word that could be this similar thing, like D word drop, like
I don't know.
That has to do with vision.
With vision.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it. This is how the process works, everybody.
But I really like blink and sink.
Blink and sink, I like it.
But you're right. It's interesting if it's an item, like let's say it's a lockbox or a strong box or something like that, and you're trying to mess with it, and then spikes shoot out of it. That seems pretty intense.
Yes. So let's see, strong.
Especially if you're something that you could like hold even.
Yeah. Trigger is let's see, fail to pick lock.
Yep. So
if you are picking it and you basically like you need to go left to unlock it, but you go right and it triggers the trap. So sort of knowledge about that, and like you could even do it where it's a like a 50-50 chance, right? So you, as the dungeon master, you say, so you go to pick the lock on the strong box, and they say and you go go ahead and roll, and then they roll and they fail, and you go, which way did you turn it? And you go, oh, I was going left. And you're like, okay, you need to determine is left or right the way in which it would then trigger the trap on the fail. So
I can totally see that. I also picture like there's usually like pins or things like that in certain locks, right? And you're like pushing the pins up, and there's one that's a false pin, right? So you just push the wrong one up, and it just spikes.
Effect is spikes. Spikes.
Yeah, instead of unlocking the box, you unlocked the spikes.
Yeah. Shoot out of the box. And so they don't go out very far. Like
No,
they're just,
no.
you have to think about like the
Yeah.
mechanical thing, how far would they go out? And then what you could do is if the strong box has like, I'm just thinking like it's got maybe a square or maybe a rounded lid or something like that. It could like protrude out from that all of a sudden. And it's got a bunch of like, the way that we describe it could hint as it's got all this decoration and stuff and all these like
circular
little nubs or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like little pointy nubs.
Yeah, that
that
could
are
be
just
too.
Really sticking out.
Yeah.
And
they look exceptionally sharp for some reason. As you're
well, and they could even protrude a little bit. And the thought is, well, it's just decoration or like don't put stuff on top of this. But then you realize they actually have some sort of mechanical thing that will make them suddenly come out, 6 inches or whatever.
or I mean, even if it looks like a little spiky, it's designed so you can't just pick it up, right? Like you're like, oh, it would be hazardous to try to pick this up because the outside of it's all spiky. So you're like, okay, well, we might as well pick it here and try to open it now instead of trying to put in our bag of holding or whatever it might be. And then boom, spikes. Trap is called boom spikes.
When triggered, all spikes, they don't like fly away. They're not like
they don't.
Bolts.
Yeah, they're
but
not
they
bolts.
just kind of like, spring out 6 inches. And basically anyone who's holding it or close to it or whatever, is going
directly
to,
next to it is kind of how I'm looking at it. If you are adjacent in any shape or form, you potentially are taking a spike.
I'll say 1 foot just in case. So, so you're close enough. There's always going to be that person at the table's like, I wasn't within 1 foot of it. And it's like, make a dex save, nerd. All right. I can say.
Like, I'm sorry. The chest somehow moved towards you. It is also a mimic.
All right. So we need to come up with a name for that at some point.
Yeah, spiky trapped box that's only goes off when you fail to pick it. So.
Yep. Let me also include a couple of fields for the trigger and effect.
We should also have like lethality on there.
I do, yeah. So I got level range, lethality, type, trigger, and effect. All right.
Also, if anyone has any questions about the Kickstarter or anything like that, let us know too. I know we're out here building traps and having fun. But yeah, we're also here to answer questions. And also thank you guys all for the support so far. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Love the community.
Yeah. It's always so fun. Alrighty.
Yeah,
what's up next?
The creative process, just a peek behind the curtain, the creative process can be very lonely sometimes.
It can.
We're working as a team, but then we we'll do a bunch of writing on our own. And there's a lot of like people on Discord, for example. We spend a lot of time communicating with our fans on Discord or just other writers and stuff. So we have that collaboration, but when we actually see the excitement around a thing that we made, that is truly like next level. You see people are actually excited to see this and to use it at their table. That's what really gets us jazzed up about it. All right, so let me see here. All right, next one.
Alrighty.
We'll do another mechanical trap, and then we'll do 2 magical traps. This is a 15. So remove barrier.
Oh,
that one's an interesting one.
That is interesting.
So remove a barrier to something that's holding something back. It could be water or something like that. It could be sand. And then the effect is going to be swinging object. Okay. Remove barrier, swinging object.
That kind of makes sense because you could set it up so it's like something's barricaded or like there's some sort of object that clearly is keeping something in, you think, or like you need to go that way. And when removing that, it comes down some sort of swinging axe or even a hammer, piece of stone.
Well, let me give you some examples of remove barrier.
Sure.
So we've got stopper or plug, wedged support, a beam brace, or chalk holding a load in check. That's interesting to me, where pulling it loose lets the restrained weight fall or shift. A blocking stone, loose stones set in a wall, ceiling, or floor that, once removed, opens a channel for water, sand, or vermin to pour through. Obstructing object, an item that unknowingly seals a passage or vent, such as a treasure that doubles as a plug for a gas-filled tube behind it. So, and also, side note, I've included some breakout boxes in the. Why is that ringing? That was obnoxious. I've included some breakout boxes as examples for one of our stretch goals. So this breakout box in the random trap generator says too valuable to leave. So the characters find a wondrous crystal orb set into a pedestal in the middle of the room. Its purpose isn't immediately apparent, but they know it has to be valuable. They don't detect any curse on it, so someone picks it up. Within moments, the tube blocked by the orb begins spewing a black poisonous vapor into the room. So that's another interesting part about like remove barrier.
Yep.
It could literally be something sitting on something else. You're like, well, dude, obviously we want to take that thing, and you remove it, and you couldn't see that it was sitting on a thing that now will cause problems for you guys.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Jacko, thank you so much for all the support. Use Party Starter at session 0. How did that go? How did Party Starter help out? Because personally, I love Party Starter. It is such a fun product.
Yeah. That product actually, I was hanging out with another friend of mine named Chris, and we were discussing, this was a few years ago actually, we were discussing a way in which you could get the session 0, like the synergy between all the characters, and it would make sense. And he said, because he was just about to start a new campaign, and he was like, I'm struggling with how I'm supposed to actually like get them to be a synergistic group at this point. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you had a product that did that? And he was like, wouldn't it be cool if you did a product that did that? I was like, yeah, I guess we could. And so it came together really quickly. And then the idea of having events as part of it too, because then the events could drive not only story, but they could become your like catalyst for the team getting together, or they could inform relationships and how they were created. So I thought it was really cool. I was really happy with how that turned out.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I think for this thing, maybe the wedged support or obstructing object. I'm thinking
That's
wedge
so
support
cool.
probably. So maybe wedge support where.
I'm thinking wedge
This might be
support
like-
too.
Yeah, but the swinging object to me is intriguing, because if someone tied a big heavy something to something and then wedged it in such a way that you removing the wedge would then cause it to start moving, what are they trying to get it to move to do? Are they trying to get it to like hit you, or are they trying to get it to like smash through a wall and potentially unleash something? Or it smashes something that results in your walkway becoming unstable, or something to that
or
nature.
even like your exit is now blocked, or
yeah. Okay.
And Triple Dude, I did
okay.
not know. I look like Chris Hero.
Like Chris Hero.
Yeah, he's a wrestler. I'm not personally
okay.
into wrestling, but
all right. So let's see here. Let me make some notes. So we have the trigger is.
Yeah, I do like the thought that agreed, because you could have it set up in a way where clearly like the thing that's going to swing, if it's set up to hit the person who's removing the wedge, right? You're like, maybe this is a little obvious, right? Like that thing looks like it's going to maybe fall and swing and hit us, so maybe we don't want to remove that. But if it's activating something else that then causes a doorway to collapse, as you said, the ground to become unstable, like whatever it might be, pretty neat then. Because it's less obvious. It's like, okay, well, what are we doing here?
Yeah. So the swinging object, I always come back to the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi.
It always comes to Star Wars. It always comes back. No.
It always comes back. So swinging object.
Lord of Eat's about to show up just because you mentioned Star Wars is all I know.
I said Star
Wars. You summoned him.
Yeah, I did.
You summoned him for sure.
All right, so let's see here. So if we go with, let's see, it was swinging object, so it could be multiple.
Yep. And just so you guys know in chat, if you have any ideas, suggestions about what the swinging object should be or how it works, always pitch them. Just throw them in there.
Yeah. So a heavy object swings down from above on a chain, arm, or rope, slamming through the area and knocking creatures aside as it passes. The object might be smooth and blunt or fitted with hazards to add to the damage it delivers. Swinging objects may include stone blocks, iron pendulums, bladed arm, spiked log. So these are just ideas here.
Yep.
So what I'm thinking is, if it is like a stone block that somehow the wedged object that you remove to get further, because I'm thinking this is like corridor or something to that effect, where what it wants to do is, maybe there's a bunch of like thin rods, right? Thin wooden rods, and they're all blocking the passageway in front of you.
Okay.
And so you're removing those rods one at a time, and you don't realize when you remove this one, it starts a cascading effect that unwedges the big stone attached to a chain or whatever. This is a very like kobold trap to me.
It does.
In fact, we should include stuff like, who might design, like,
that would be neat.
Goblins design traps that do these things, and kobolds design traps that do those things, and wizards design traps that do that, that kind of thing.
That's not a bad idea.
This is a little like little side note on the designing traps. I'm gonna make a note of that.
Jaco's,
keep in mind that the manuscript is still in progress.
Yes, Jaco said could have a breakable acid vial for extra damage, so it could have something that it's going to hit. Something that's interesting about that is, it could be like a room that is filled with like vats or vials of like things when you're in there, and then you activate this, and next thing you know, it's destroying those. Like, you made your dex save to get away from it, but now there's splash of acid or glass or whatever else is coming at you.
Yeah, you can modify it all different directions.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
So highly recommended to do that. For our purposes on this one, I think that the bear's idea of blocking the passageway behind you is neat.
Well, the thing I've been thinking more about it, which is maybe it's intended to like sweep across the room, right? And everyone's supposed to get out of it. Like, it's obvious you're setting up, someone's going to pull it and dodge, right? You're all going to dodge, get out of the way. But you didn't realize it was going to go so far to then block the room, right? So let alone if you weren't paying attention, you're going to take damage. But then if you are paying attention, you potentially are still getting trapped if you really didn't think about it too much. So
yeah. Well, and you also have to think about, is it the boulder itself that actually like blocks the exit? I think a rolling boulder is like the perfect one to block the exit. In this case, you wouldn't be able to lift it that high if it were that big to block a 6-foot round passageway or whatever, wherever we're at. Also thinking in terms of like, are we in a cave, are we in a dungeon?
True.
That kind of thing. True. But I think regardless, some aspect of smashing into things that then topple to block the exit.
Yep.
And then it's gonna make a lot of noise. That's the other part.
Oh, that's very
huge
true.
Amount of noise.
Yeah, this is very kobold-esque. And Jaco, I do agree. I like the idea of themed traps for groups. Like, kobolds would make this type of trap. Or, because it's always nice knowing, like, I know my encounter, I know what I'm going to throw at people, right? I know what type of dungeon we're about to go through, but knowing, okay, well, this is what kobolds would do. They would make this style of thing. So I'm going to lean into those.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. So let's see here. So the wedge support, the remove barrier of the wedge support then leads to the swinging object. We'll use a stone block. Stone blocks swings through room or corridor, smashing walls and ceiling, causing collapse.
Yep.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Right.
Nice.
Yep. All right, and we're gonna put that one in the dangerous category. Mechanical. It's a level 1 through 4 dangerous.
Nice.
Mechanical. Although the size of the boulder, we might want to put that into a higher level.
Potentially.
I'll put it in 5 through 8.
I'd put it 5 through 8.
Just because
if someone does get hit by that, you don't want to
boulder that big. Yeah.
You don't want the wizard to actually just become dust.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He just turns into pink mist.
Yeah. Now we need a new wizard.
Scraping wizard off the walls.
True resurrection can fix this, but no.
Yeah, right. All right. So let's see. Trigger was.
No. I'm excited for the magical ones. Personally, magic is one of those things where when we start hitting those, I'm like, ah. And then if you guys have any ideas for names, let me know. So.
Sweet object.
Dude, yeah, this one does feel pretty on the nose, old school, which I like. That's the cool thing about traps is some of them just bring you back. They're nostalgic. Remember we're going through just your dungeon crawls back in the day, and you're like, oh, spikes from the wall. Oh, feels bad when they stab me, but.
Well, I think a lot of us were inspired by things like Indiana Jones and stuff like that. Yeah. And, those, it had quite a bit of that, primitive type stuff. And the rolling boulder, all obviously very iconic. All right, well, let's get into the magical section. Excuse me. Like I said, I was up late last night. One thing to keep in mind, too, is that and actually, I think I've got a D30 here, so I could expand it to include everything from the ambiguous and magical, and I'll just adjust it accordingly because ambiguous does have
magical.
Some magical, so we'll do that. 30 unconsciousness.
Okay.
And it causes 27, which is teleport.
Whoa. That's kind of neat. Weirdly enough, this is weirdly enough in my mind less of a trap for trap purposes, but more okay, you incapacitate the big bad or whoever's in the room who designed this, and it's cool, their body's gone, and it's wait, what happened? We were gonna kill you. We just knocked you out, and now you're not here anymore. They designed the room in case things went wrong. It's their escape route.
That's pretty neat, actually.
Yeah, it's
less of a trap, more of a safeguard.
Yep, less of a trap, more of a safeguard. But
yeah. Well, let's take a look at unconsciousness and all the inspiration. So, a creature falling unconscious within a particular area triggers the trap. This area can be a single room, a collection of chambers, or an entire dungeon. Conditions may include any unconsciousness. A trap triggers when any creature falls unconscious in the area, whether from wounds, exhaustion, sleep, or failed save. Knocked out. Trap that triggers. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. Magical slumber.
When someone's put to sleep.
Let's see. Oh, this one's interesting. Soul Survivor. Trap that triggers only when every creature but one has fallen.
That's kind of interesting.
Reacting to a party worn down its last conscious member. Interesting. So it's sort of a condition. If this many unconsciousness if this many creatures are unconscious, then
Trigger the trap.
it triggers. So it could be like conditional unconsciousness. We could do something where this is tied to some sort of an object of sleep.
Yes. I mean, you could. You're going to want some sort of sleep or something like that. I think you could use this too for like an enemy that usually would put people to sleep, right? Or put people unconscious. And what it's doing is once someone falls asleep, they're getting teleported to a different chamber, like a prison cell or like some sort of holding thing. So it's like what he's doing is he's casting sleep, and if one of you falls asleep, you disappear. And it's like, cool. How many of you, like, slowly but surely, your friends are disappearing?
So pair it up with a like make it part of the encounter with this magic user.
Correct. Exactly.
Gotcha,
or even like, as you said,
okay.
an object that would cause people to fall to sleep or something like that. Like a statue that if you stare in its eyes, you get hit with sleep and then you fall asleep and then you disappear. And you're like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah. And this could be part of a more complicated trap
It could.
as well.
Definitely
So this could be, there could be like the statue would be look into, and then the effect would be unconsciousness,
Yep.
which is part of the sleep spell, and that's a magical trigger, magical effect. And then it leads to the magical trigger and magical effect of, if unconscious, then teleport to jail cell.
To jail cell. Yep. Pretty neat.
Okay.
I like that one. Yeah, because the cool thing about this trap to me is it lets you pair it up with another trap, with a magic user, with someone like that. Like it essentially helps you theme what you're going to use this trap for. Sure, you're not going to use this trap for everything, right? You're not going to throw it in every dungeon. You're going to throw it in a place where something clearly is going to cast sleep, or basically knock you unconscious. But then, yeah, it just helps you come up with the rest of the encounter just off of this trap, which is really neat.
Yeah. Well, I think that to a certain degree, we've just made two separate traps that can be paired together.
We did, yeah. So if we
very
wanted
easily.
to, we could definitely
do that.
Yes, we could do that. 100%. Yeah. Because these could be the two for this one, as you just said, where we're rolling two right now. And it's like, boom, we did both with one roll. We made two traps for one roll. Okay. Yeah, it is a trap with a built-in story theme, which is neat. I like how you can pair it with different things too. As I said, like you could pair it with another trap that is doing some sort of sleep thing. You could do an item. You could do like a piece of treasure that if you touch, next thing you know, you're falling asleep and disappearing. Because as a party, you wouldn't know what's going on. You would just see like your friend fall asleep and then disappear. And you'd be like, whoa, wait a second. Why did they disappear?
This is also a really interesting, like, it doesn't even have to be a trap in a dungeon.
No, it doesn't.
It could literally be like you're trespassing on someone's manor house or something like that. And, the powerful magic user has made it to where, if you come into this room and you look into the crystal ball or whatever, it's going to trigger and then you're just be...
Yeah,
all right,
and maybe that's how you get in the dungeon. You're like, oh, I don't want to be here.
You get sent to the dungeon.
Yes, exactly. Like you wake up in a jail cell in a dungeon now. You're like, oh, great.
I like it. All these are very easily modifiable.
I know, of course.
So really what people are looking for is the concept and the DCs.
Yeah.
So as long as it's appropriate for their party. I think it's interesting. The numbers are not especially difficult to do on the fly, but you've already got everything else happening. You've already got all this other stuff happening during the game. So just having the numbers there is so much better. Hey, we're at 15,000.
Yay!
I just noticed
that.
Stretch goal. Stretch goal unlocked.
Yay! Thank you guys.
Go and add the next stretch goal.
Sweet. Hey, there it is.
Where is it? Boom. So make sure if you're watching this, go and submit your traps.
That's true. We now we will have the user submitted traps PDF. Hype. And agreed, that's what you get for being nosy. Like, if you're snooping around this guy's manor, you find some cool, like, I also like the thought that it's in a book, right? Like, you're snooping around this guy's manor or whatever, you open up a book and then it puts you to sleep, and then next thing you know, you're waking up in their jail cell and he's like, hey man, what were you doing in my house? What were you?
Well, and it's good to think about, like, what are they trying to achieve with this trap?
Yeah.
Are they trying to protect? Is this like protecting their home, their valuables? You know, whatever it is that they're trying to keep you out of. Because if I had magic, I'd be doing all kinds of weird stuff with it. You know,
I mean, yeah.
Making sure, like, if I had to protect my magical items or whatever in my manor house, and I knew how to do this kind of stuff, I would have traps all over the place.
Yeah, it goes both ways, because it's like, I wouldn't trap my house too much for the sake where I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm walking home. You open the door. Ah!
you're teleported to your own dungeon.
Yeah, exactly. You're just chilling. You're like, oh, not again. When's my wife gonna come down here and find me?
I'm gonna say any unconsciousness.
Yeah, I would make any unconsciousness as well.
Yeah, and then the teleport part.
Hey, there's submitted trap.
Our options are. Say again.
We're just passing submitted trap on the as we're scrolling through everything.
Yep, submit your own traps.
Go submit your traps.
Okay, teleport into danger, scattered apart, sent backward, albeit. So there's, I think, into danger or scattered apart would be interesting for these. Like, into danger is what we've been talking about, just into a dungeon.
Yeah.
So you could do something where the intent here is that you get teleported, let's say, under the castle or whatever it is that you're
That's what I was thinking
infiltrating.
The manor house or the mansion you're in. Right now, like, one of the things that I'm running, basically, yeah, they're in a mansion right now trying to figure out, like, how to get into the secret lab and things, and this would be a great trap, honestly, in there, because you get down there, you start mixing chemicals or get hit by something, next thing you know, you're somewhere completely where you shouldn't be.
Nice. Let's see, we've got 25 of the simple traps. I might include some complex traps too, depending on if we get that far. But
Sure.
If we were to do, we're gonna do 4 live streams, right? So
4.
Let's do 2 more.
Yeah,
and I think we'll be good. So let's do 2 more. We'll do 1 mechanical and 1 magical.
Right.
This time I'm gonna roll the D30 so that I include ambiguous on the mechanical. So let's see. I'll just need to do a little bit of math.
What
math is okay.
Roll?
Here we go. 20 weight sensitive surface.
Oh,
Mechanical.
nice.
And I got 20, but that's a swinging object. We've already gotten that one, so let's do something different. 30 wall of fire. Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So, weight sensitive surface, what could happen here is you enter a chamber that has lit fuel of some kind, like lit oil, right?
Yep.
And it's like ceremonial, it's got a vibe to it and stuff. And then you end up stepping on a pressure plate, some sort of weight sensitive surface, and then it like flames up, you know, like it expands. Now, pressure plate is one of the other triggers, so I'm going to go to weight sensitive surface and see if there's something else, you know, in here, because that might imply weight sensitive surface might actually imply it's like more of a small thing, whereas pressure plate is like the big thing. So let me go to that section.
Yeah, I also could see
you're free to do your own interpretation of all these things, though.
Yeah, for me, weight sensitive surface is like once you hit a certain weight,
placing or removing weight on the surface. So yeah, you could do something where like the entire area, once you have 500 pounds, 600 pounds, worth of weight, then, it triggers. Whereas I'll find the pressure plate, but I think pressure plates are like meant to be on the floor and always just any weight just triggers them. But let's see, weight sensitive surface placing or moving weight on the surface triggers the trap. The weight sensitive surface is a larger, more sensitive cushion of the pressure plate. Cousin
that's
of
cool,
the pressure
Jacko.
plate. Often covering a whole area rather than a single spot.
See, that's what I was
Surface
thinking.
Could be okay.
I was thinking like if the whole party enters and stands on this, then the wall of fire goes up because it goes like chunk. Like, how interesting would it be? How you mentioned, so you come into this room, there's clearly lit blazier, or there's clearly some sort of fuel that's on fire, oil or something like that. And when you ka-chunk, that's when you see the groove open and you see like it pour down and the fire comes up behind you.
Or something like, check this out. Okay, this is probably gonna be high level and in the perilous or deadly category.
Good, we need
imagine
these.
The floor, the entire surface. So the outside of the room has a like a lit oil thing going on, like a fountain or whatever.
Okay.
And then when you walk in, if you have enough weight on the floor, the whole thing conjuncts down, and every single 5-foot square has like a groove that then the whole floor was sitting on top of a vat of oil. And by slamming down, all the oil shoots up all at the same time, covering the entire area, and you just get walls of fire in all directions. Like basically every, north, south,
It almost
east,
becomes
west.
like a maze of fire in a way.
Yeah.
Huh. That's
and
pretty
it
neat.
all just shoots up all at the same time. That could be really cool.
That could be really cool.
It may not like sustain. It may just then because all the liquid shoots up and then spreads out, so it could turn into a whole fire pit for you guys.
I could see
let's
that.
do this. So the options are tilting floor, weighted platform, balanced scale, and settling expanse. So I think this would probably be the weighted platform.
That's what I was thinking as well. Yeah. Yes, exactly, Triple. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, there's like grooves in the floor, oil runs through them, through the grooves, creates the wall of fire. Kind of like what you were saying. You were more saying like mechanically how like it's causing the wall of fire, right? Because you're like, how do you make the whole
pressure.
wall? You could have some sort of like system underneath that is pushing the oil up. So it's like constantly pumping more oil into it to sustain the wall of fire. Of course, it's probably a lot of oil, but we're role playing here, so.
Well, I like your idea of the maze, because then what could happen is if the whole floor drops to a certain height, then and the flames come up from between, it could like separate the party.
Yes.
And it could create a whole like maze kind of a thing that you have to go through.
Exactly.
You could make this bigger. Like you could make the whole entire thing bigger if you wanted to.
Yep.
So
and if you're your resistant dragonborn can now try to move his way through the flames and help everyone out while everyone else is panicking. The people who have stuff against elements are very happy right now.
Yeah. So let's take a look at Wall of Fire, or let's see, what was it called? What did I get?
Wall of Flame, I think is what it was called.
Wall of Fire.
Wall of Fire. Okay, yeah.
Yep. All right, Wall of Fire. So the mechanical one would be flame jets, as we've been discussing.
Sweet.
Also magma channel. So I like the flame jets.
I like the flame jets as well.
Let me do this. Wall of Fire. Flame jets. So let me just make some notes. Chamber for drops and walls of fire ignite. And again, this could be scaled. You could make it bigger or smaller. I like the idea of maybe like an entire chamber, a big chamber. You come in and the whole thing like junk, 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 and then you're like stuck in this thing, and it could drop 20 feet. You know?
Yeah.
Who knows?
No, exactly. I like that as well. Like, essentially, even how you mentioned it before, where like this room it's large, it's very ritualistic, it feels, so you're entering it and you're hitting that midpoint, and that's when you sink down, the flame jets happen, you're now stuck within.
You're too far into it to run back to the entrance.
Exactly.
So now you're in this thing that's low, and you have to deal with the flame, and then throw more stuff at them, like put little
100%.
flame mephits or something like that, in the room with them. So they're trying to navigate these flame walls, and they've got mephits attacking them as well. All right, one more, and we'll do magical, and we'll round it out. Very good progress. This is how fast this goes, by the way.
Oh, I know. Creating traps is so fun.
Yeah, and then there's instructions in the random trap generator that show you, like, if this level and this severity or this lethality, then use these numbers for your damage or your DC checks and stuff like that. All right. The D30 is so round.
Oh, yes, it is.
Let's see. I got musical or auditory.
Oh.
And exhaustion.
Ooh.
I like this a lot.
Like that a lot,
violin that plays itself and makes everyone fall asleep.
Yeah.
Or suffer.
Yeah, giving level of exhaustion is pretty intense.
Yeah. So musical or auditory.
So the trigger is music or auditory.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was saying, it's the.
I mean, you definitely could make it that way.
That's giving you the thing. You could. So let's harmonic glyph and echoing ward are the two examples given. Doesn't mean you have to use those. Just those are the examples given. So a rune tuned to a particular note, phrase, or melody that triggers the trap when the sound is heard or when expected silence is broken. So there you go. You could do something where if you make sound in here, the glyph detects the sound and sets off, causing everyone to roll for exhaustion, let's say. Yep. The echoing ward is an enchantment laid over a chamber that listens for a password sung or spoken aloud, triggering the trap when the wrong sound or no sound reaches it. So sort of the opposite there.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, in here, I like the idea of there being like a
yeah, to me,
breaking the silence, I think. Yeah, I
like that one as well. Agreed. Like, the room is sitting there, it's quiet, you can walk in there, it's not like any sound's gonna break it, but maybe it's speech. So it's like once you start trying to talk to each other within that chamber, because you can always do stuff too, to like give hints to your players and things like this. Because this is almost to me like a riddle chamber, like something I would have, like the previous door right before you enter this room is some sort of riddle or some sort of thing.
Speak no evil.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, okay, well, we have to pass through this, and it just told us how scary this next room is gonna be, and the first thing you do when you go in there is start talking to each other, and then next thing you know, you start feeling real tired.
Yeah.
Start feeling really tired.
So here's the exhaustion part of this. So
this is magical exhaustion.
Say again?
This is magical, right? In nature? So,
yeah, magical, yeah. So wearying glyph, a rune that saps the vigor of any creature inside its range, leeching strength as steadily as a long march. And then we've got Vampiric Ward, an enchantment that drains the life force of creatures in the area to feed a fixture or distant being, leaving its victims weak and worn. So you could cater it toward, like, okay, your life force is draining as you're getting deeper in the dungeon, and the big bad is feeding off that life force, which is pretty cool.
Honestly, that is pretty neat, especially for like before a big bad chamber or before a boss fight, where it's like hey, if you solve the puzzle fine, you guys are going to get through this without getting hit. But if you do mess up, you're actually buffing him slightly and weakening yourselves. So this is going to be a little bit more difficult if you guys screw this trap up.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So going back to the harmonic glyph, I guess what it is if you make sound.
Yeah.
Let's see, harmonic glyph. Or was it music auditory? Root attuned to a particular note, phrase, or melody that triggers the trap when the sound is heard or when expected silence is broken. So the silence is broken.
Yep, when expected silence is broken. Yep. Yeah, to me, this is a higher level trap just because of how easy it is probably to trigger.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, yeah, this trap's probably going off.
Well, and it's got a chance to not do anything if everyone saves on their exhaustion.
That's true too.
So you could do something where everyone is going to do a saving throw, and for everyone who failed, they get one level of exhaustion, and the big bad gains something.
Yep.
Which would be interesting, a little give and take. Cool. All right, well there you go. We've got what is that? 7. Looks like
so
7 traps. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
How's the campaign doing? We're over here. Let me refresh.
That's true.
Looks like $16,080 with 238 backers. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So we are well on our way to our second stretch goal would be the designer breakout boxes. Like I said, take a look at the random trap generator. You can see what I mean about those. So it's basically taking various parts of the book and including some notes on them that you can just read. So you read a trap and then the notes say stuff about like how you can modify that trap for a different purpose, or, you know, chain that trap together with a different trap for, you know, a more complex trap and stuff like that. Yeah. So we'll go through the book and we'll add that. It'll add quite a few pages to the book. So the book is already, we're estimating, to be around 300 pages. So it'll add a fair few pages to the book. Most of the breakout boxes are maybe an eighth of a page.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit more. So if we include a ton of those, it's definitely going to make it bigger. After the designer breakout boxes, we've got traps by purpose appendix. So basically it'll break down, if you're looking for a trap to subdue, for example, we will basically make a way you can easily find and turn to that page, or if you're looking at the PDF, you'll be able to just click on the button on the number in the table, and it'll go to that trap specifically. So a bit more usability for you guys. After that, we've got trap diagrams,
which I love.
Yeah, they're amazing. So Treacherous Traps 1, if you are familiar with the book, has trap diagrams, which is sort of like an X-ray, or like a view behind the walls or floors or ceilings to see how traps, like especially mechanical traps. Magical traps are a little bit more difficult to show.
Yeah, because it's usually magic or a glyph, like, or
wibbly wobbly, you know, like magical stuff that happens. But the mechanical traps, one of my favorites was we had bolts in the wall, and this is with Treacherous Traps 1, you could see that there was a sword affixed behind the wall, and there were a bunch of little tiny crossbows in the wall, and they were all being pulled back. Their string was being pulled back with another string that was in the way of the sword. So what would happen is, as soon as you triggered the trap, that sword would come swooping through, cut all of these strings holding on to each one of the crossbow bolts, and those would all then fire out the wall. Yep. So, because we were thinking, like, how does this actually work, you know? And so that was one solution that we came up with, which was neat. Yep. But the trap diagrams, I think, are very cool. It just sparks the imagination. The disarm minigame. So this is for complex traps. We were thinking, how could we make complex traps more interesting, and could there be, like, you know, special you know, combinations and stuff you can do. So we thought a disarm minigame would be really cool, and would include, you know, different skills and stuff like that. There could be disarming complex traps that had to do with skills outside of your typical dexterity-based skills and stuff like that. After that, there's the 3 playable species. So we're bringing in what we're calling automata, basically magically enchanted constructs. The catkin, these are catfolk, human hybrids, and then the dokebi. So this is a new goblinoid shapeshifter creature that usually exists as like another goblin. No one ever would know the difference, but it is in fact a shapeshifted dokebi into either a hobgoblin, a bugbear, or a goblin, or what's the other one? The feral goblin. I forget what they're called.
I forget what they're called as well.
Yeah, but anyway, any goblinoid, they can shapeshift into any goblinoid, and you wouldn't be able to know the difference. And they live most of their lives like that. And then there would be another, so that's more player options. The book already has 12 subclasses, so those are already in there, but this would be new species to get into. And then each one of those species has 4 subcategories of like specialties and stuff too. After that, the stretch goals, we continue with 20 new feats, and these are designed around traps and hazards and stuff like that. Everything that's in the book, traps, hazards, puzzles, all that stuff. And then we've got creature companions.
Yeah.
Beasts and constructs bred to sniff out danger, trap-centric magic items. So these are magic items dealing with traps, hazards, puzzles, that kind of stuff. Trapsmith villains. So we're going to have a section of Trapsmith legends, which are people you can turn to, NPCs you can turn to when you need help with traps. But this will be a whole section on villains. So folks that are building traps for nefarious purposes. The second to last stretch goal will be more artwork, so add a bunch of additional artwork to the book. And then the final stretch goal we have right now is the Dungeon Delve. So the Dungeon Delve basically would incorporate all the aspects of the Treasure Traps book into a single adventure in the book, and it would include dungeon maps, and it would have lots of different traps and NPCs and story hooks and stuff like that for you.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then Jaco, to answer your question, how about making this available for Shard? Currently, we're not doing any VTT stuff for this, just because we've learned VTTs take so long to get introduced, and we still have a backlog of VTTs that we're introducing for our old products. So essentially what we're doing is not offering anything for this, but eventually this will go on to Shard and things like that down the line. We just didn't want to offer it during the Kickstarter, just because there's the whole backlog of other VTT products that we're trying to get through. They take so long to convert is the biggest issue, and things like that. So, but eventually it will be. Eventually it will be on Shard and available. Just won't be available during the Kickstarter.
Once they are available, we'll let the whole community know.
Yep.
Now it's on Shard, now it's on Roll20, now it's on Foundry.
Yep, exactly.
We've
just found that's going to be a better way of going about it than offering it during the Kickstarter.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today.
Yeah.
We're gonna live stream. Let me take a look at the schedule.
So we'll be live streaming tomorrow
at noon Pacific.
Yep. And then what we'll be doing Thursday, I think we're thinking of doing a later stream, which will be 5 to 6.
Yeah. And then Friday would be the last day that the early bird is available. We're going to end early birds on Friday at noon Pacific. Yep. We're going to live stream from 11 to noon, and feel free, to join us and everything, but we're at noon. That's basically the cutoff for all the early birds, but any additional content that we put into this Vanguard Traps PDF will go out to all the early birds.
Correct.
And then if you're not an early bird, you can still buy it as an add-on.
Yep. It's still going to be available as a PDF add-on. So Standing Pledge can add it after the early birds. So.
Yeah, but this will be a Kickstarter exclusive thing. So, but we wanted to say a special thanks to all the early birds who are getting in on the ground level, and I thought that this would be a really fun thing.
Yeah, it's unique. It's fun. You guys get to work on the traps with us too during the live streams, so it's like it's fun.
Yeah, stoked.
Got your early bird all in. Nice. Hell yeah.
For the Berlin, thank
go.
you.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. I'm glad to see the excitement around this project.
Yeah.
So, so tune in. It'll be tomorrow at noon.
Tomorrow noon.
Pacific.
Yeah.
And tomorrow at noon, Thursday it's at 5, and Friday at 11.
Yep.
So look forward to seeing everybody there. And we'll post updates to let everyone know. You know,
true. There will be updates.
We'll post an update.
Yeah. We'll let everyone know.
So keep an eye out for your email, and so yeah. Cool, everybody. Well, thank you again.
Yeah.
We'd love to see the excitement around the project, and please share a link with your friends, social media, text message them, call them on the phone. If
Honestly,
that's still a thing, let them know about it.
Liking, sharing, all of that does way more than you could ever think. So we appreciate it. And yeah, thank you guys for all the support so far. We're super excited to bring this. And honestly, there's a lot of stuff in this book. Personally, I can't wait to run a bunch of these subclasses, especially the Chrono Cheat Rogue. That one looks like right up my alley. So I'm very excited for that.
The Gal Fighter is the one I'm most excited about right now. So if you were part of the playtest, they can basically repurpose scraps of traps and stuff like that they find along the way. But later on, they'll actually be able to absorb magic. And I'm a big fan of X-Men. So Bishop from X-Men, he can absorb energy from being, attacked in various ways. Then he can basically give that energy back. So we thought the Gal Fighter would be really cool, where they could absorb magical energy and then deliver it back as force or something like that during their attacks. So I'm excited to see.
So go check them out. We got them available here to play test and things like that. So go check them on out. All right, you guys.
Until next time. Have fun. Enjoy your games. Look forward to seeing you at the next streams.
Yeah. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.